Hello, everyone. This is a brief video lecture on theory, theory in general, um, based off of the Stephen Color reading mostly, which I know is a bit complex. So I'm hoping this will clarify a few things, and sort of this is going to be our jumping off point into literary theory and critical perspectives and what we're going to be using a lot during this course. This first part is more of an introduction and an overview to this sort of abstract idea of theory and why it's important. So the color reading focuses mostly on theory just as this sort of anomalous entity, this thing, theory, which is a bit complex. We're going to sort of take that and focus it a little bit more on literature in general, but then we're going to jump off from there into how we are going to use this. So theory in general is sort of conceptualized as works that succeed in challenging and reorienting thinking in fields other than those which they apparently belong. So this jumping off point here would mean something like using literary theory principles on an academic research paper or like a travel brochure, which we are going to, not necessarily those specific examples, but we are going to do that. We're going to talk a bit about, what you can gain from, what literary perspectives you can gain from, pieces that aren't short stories, or reading short stories and what they can tell us about psychology or history or just sort of how creative expression or the social culture of the time, whatever. So that's basically a dumbed down version of what theory is. It's taking a work, a piece, and then gaining knowledge from it, extrapolating knowledge from it that is not necessarily what it was meant to do in the first place. And that is how all of these literary theory and critical perspectives and literary criticism, all this stuff we're going to get to, that's where all of this came about. So theory in general challenges cultural, textual knowledge and assumptions, meaning, nature, culture, the functioning of the psyche, public and private experience, and larger historical cultural influence on the individual. What this means is basically, and within the context of this course, we're going to read a short story like the Poe stories, and we are then going to extrapolate more information from those. We're going to learn a lot about, we will have, by this point, we will have discussed a lot of the culture of the time, Poe's historical, his Poe's biography, his experiences. We're going to determine a lot of, discuss, emotions like jealousy, issues, interfamily issues, all kinds of stuff that's not necessarily right there within the text. The effects of theory, this is what's crucially important. Let me slide this up. Oh, crap. All right, I'm going to slide this up. I'm just going to keep it here. Theory challenges common sense. It questions the meaning of the text and what the author intended. We're going to get into a lot of that. A lot of times, so much of the author's subconscious goes into their work, and there will be things that they may not have necessarily intended, but we can gain this meaning from them. There's sort of this running joke in literary criticism of, popular authors giving a reading, and somebody questions them and says, do the blue curtains in such and such a scene represent this and this and this? And the author will respond and say, I just thought the curtains should be blue. So that's a big part of what we're going to be doing, is we're going to be sort of hypothesizing meaning that, we may not have any evidence for. Literature's a very, literature is studied, there's a lot of scholarship out there, but also literature is very personal to the reader, okay? So theory questions that writing is an expression of individual truth. It questions that that expression of truth is rooted in experience or a larger state of affairs. So this has to do with the author's experience, the culture, the society at the time, the norms, those sorts of things. Questions the nature and perception of reality and its relationship to the moment. We're going to spend a lot of time discussing the subjective perception of reality and unreliable narrators, and how we all experience the exact same events differently. A class you had last semester, the other 20 students in that class would describe one event within that experience probably in 20 different ways. And this is frozen. Okay, so theory also, it explores alternative conceptions, alternative answers, and it questions the basic premises of literature and literary study. So much of what we're going to discuss, there are necessarily not right or wrong answers. It's all about so much of literary theory and literary criticism has to do with putting forth an argument and then substantiating that argument with evidence from the text. One thing that we need to definitely think about and keep in mind is that a lot of this class, although it is guided writing research and a creative expression class, it's a literature class, and much of what we're going to be doing and discussing is very interdisciplinary. So all of you with your different majors are going to be able to bring something in your different experiences, are going to be able to bring a lot of unique perspectives to the readings we're going to have. That's one of the things I love so much about this class, is that it's never the same whenever I teach it, because of how we go about analyzing and interpreting short stories. So theory it's interdisciplinary, it's analytical and speculative, which you don't often experience together. Most courses, classes, major sciences are either speculative or analytical. It's rarely that we'll get two of these together, and often in the same discussion. It's very much a critique of common sense, and it's reflexive. We're going to spend a lot of time thinking and talking about thinking and talking, which may sound a bit odd, but as a literature nerd, as a fiction nerd, I don't know if there's a better way to learn about yourself and to learn about other people and life than studying literature. Literature is the art of life. There's no better way to learn about the world, about life, other people, your behavior, the way you interpret events, what's important to you. There's no better way to learn about it. And lastly, the triumph of theory. The reason theory has persisted for so long and why it's so important in college, in high school, in graduate school, is that all intellectual endeavors are based on this idea of theory, of interdisciplinary knowledge of whatever topic, of extrapolating secondary information from whatever topic or whatever text or whatever event. Much of undergraduate education is focused on this. There's so much critical thinking and analysis required for this that this is a crucial part. Although you may never study literature again, a lot of the basic exercises that we're going to be going through, the way you're going to interpret and analyze meaning and develop a context for possibly new meaning, you're going to use throughout the rest of college. And so much of what we're going to do is also going to explore socially pertinent dimensions of the humanities. This is a liberal arts school, obviously. You have a lot of humanities courses, and even within your science courses, so much of what we're going to be doing here can be carried over, I should say, into the discussion and learning of other dimensions of humanities and sciences. All right, that is it for theory.